Okay, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be covering replace mode, which is a special, not really special, a rather less known mode in Vim. So, firstly, we're only going to be covering around 4 mappings in this video, and there are 2 types of replace mode and virtual replace mode. So, we'll start with replace mode first. So, first, there's lowercase r, so it doesn't do anything until you hit a character, and it basically replaces the character under your cursor with the character that you type afterwards. So if I say I, it replaced the M with I, and if I come to A and hit R, and I say H, it replaced the A with an H. So that is the easiest use of replace mode. It's the use case I use the most, to be honest. But that's the easiest way to, I guess, the simplest use of replace mode. And then we have Shift R, which actually enters you into a proper replace mode like insert mode or visual mode. And essentially, whatever you type in this mode will replace the character under the cursor with whatever you type. So now if I start typing, whatever I type replaces the character under the cursor with whatever I type. So there is that. Okay, and if you hit backspace, it undoes the changes you made. So it undoes the replacement you made, effectively restoring the line to what it was before you changed it. So if I move like that, over that, you see nothing changes. So you need to come here. Oh well, that just breaks the whole thing, I guess. So as you saw there, if I type, you can keep backspacing, but the moment you move, backspace does not work anymore. So keep that in mind. So you can backspace to undo changes in replace mode, or you can Control W to sort of delete the previous word, as you would in insert mode, but in this case it restores the line to what it was before. Or you could even Control U like you would do in insert mode to undo the changes you did, in effect bringing the line back to what it was before you entered replace mode. Okay, keep in mind the number of characters in the line does not change up until you get to the end of the line. So if I go to the end of the line here quickly and I insert, if I enter replace mode and start replacing stuff, now that I'm at the end of the line, it starts inserting new characters. Okay, so there's a command, well, a setting called list. So if I set list, it will list all the whitespace characters as actual characters in Vim. So this $sign represents an end of the line. So if I go here, end of the line, because dollar is end of the line. So that's end of line, end of line. These empty lines only have an end of line. And then these caret capital I's represent tabs. Okay, so I'm going to be using this to explain a few things, because why not? Also note, if you do set list with a bang or an exclamation mark, it toggles it. So I'm going to be doing this a lot. As you can see, I have 2 tabs, 2 tab characters in between here and here. So if I set list, you know that in between here there's 2 tab characters. So I'm on the tab character, on the tab, off the tab. So those are tab characters. In replace mode, what this means is when I replace the tab character, it replaces the tab character with only 1 character. So if I'm in replace mode and I hit, say, K, it replaced the first tab. And if I hit K again, it replaced the second tab. So even though the line sort of shrunk, that was just the replacement of a single tab character. So the number of characters in the line did not change. So if I come here and, so this is the tab character. If I come here, right, and hit A, replace the first tab character, A again, it replaced the second tab character. So number of the characters in the line stayed the same, but the effective, if you look here at the bottom, this is line number and column number. So the effective column number does change. number of columns do change, because previously the tabs were representing, I believe, 8 columns each. Now they're just representing 1. So if I undo all the tab changes, you see our number of columns essentially, well, yeah, it's saying 37 characters, 57 columns, if I'm correct. So if I do 57 bar, yeah, 57 columns. So keep that in mind. In replace mode, that's what that does. So don't know what that error is. Those are all. So I've got the default Vim settings for tab characters and tab spacings and whatever. If you are the sort of person that has the option expand tab on, so expand tab, what this does is whenever you insert a tab character, so if I insert a tab, as you see there, no *I gets inserted, it actually inserts spaces. So now there's 8 spaces here. If you are this type of person, right, in replace mode, so if I set list again, what this means is, so let me turn off the setting first, no expand tab. Without the setting on, right, when you insert a tab, I should have showed that first. So let me enter replace mode. Sorry, I'm all over the place here. In replace mode, when I hit a tab, it replaces one character with a tab character. It doesn't increase the number of characters because the tab is represented as one character in terms of bytes, and obviously the number of columns changes as we were talking about earlier. So, oh well, in this case, since the tab spacing, I guess, is perfect, the number of columns doesn't change. In this case, yeah, the number of columns does change. So that's with no expand tab on. So by default, you have no expand tab. But if you do have expand tab on, what that means is you're going to be inserting 8 spaces, in this case, for every one character that you replace. So if I come here and hit tab, it inserted how many? Well, not 8. Okay, let me go to end of line where it's easiest. If I hit, well, not end of line, if I beginning of the line, if I hit tab, right, it inserts 8 spaces there, right? So what happens if you backspace? Nothing. Up until you come to the first, well, the last space of the tab. So until you backspace all 8 spaces, only then will the original character appear. So keep that in mind. With expand tab on, the number of characters on your line does in fact change. So that's if you have expand tab on. And as you saw earlier, when I tried to replace in here and I hit tab, well, that's I think it was here. If I hit tab, you see only 1-2 spaces got inserted. That's just because if you know how a tab works, if you come here and I set list, you can see that there's a tab space here, but because I don't know how to explain it. You know how tabs interact, where they try and align every so often characters. That's essentially what's happening here. As far as I can tell, that's what's happening here. It only needs to insert 2 spaces to align. If that makes sense. I should probably think of a better way to explain that, but that's what's happening. So if we set list again, okay, I'm going to set, I'm going to switch off expand tab. So set no expand tab. Okay, so that's replace mode in a nutshell. That should be everything. I'm just double checking my notes here. Okay, that is everything. So there's also what we call virtual replace mode, which is slightly different from replace mode. So what virtual replace mode does is it, instead of replacing actual characters in a file, it replaces screen real estate. And what they mean by that is, so again, these are individual tabs. Keep that in mind. What they mean by that is, so to enter virtual replace mode, you do G, Shift R. Now you see it says V replace, now in virtual replace mode. Instead of replacing because I'm on a tab character at the moment, instead of replacing the tab character outright, it will replace the screen real estate that the tab character occupies. So say I type in an A, it didn't replace the tab character, just I think the tab character is still there, but how do I word this? It does not replace the tab character, but the amount of space it occupies on the screen. So I can keep typing stuff here and exit virtual replace mode. And as you see, there were previously 2 characters from here. From here up until here, there were 2 characters. Now we have 8 characters in total. And if I set list, you can see spaces were inserted as well. So if I undo that change, it actually changes the amount of characters on the line, but in effect, that makes it easier to edit screen real space instead. So if I do G-Shift-R, I just want to see if I hit 1 space, what happens. Okay, and I exited, and interesting. Okay, so it only takes 1 tab there. So that will just depend on what your tab settings are. It will I guess, expand the tab to spaces. So if I come here and G-Shift-R and hit a space and a space, there should still be 1 tab character remaining over there. Okay, yeah, there's still 1 there. It's sort of that same behavior where I said it tries to align, so it keeps the tab character there because alignment isn't broken, and will sort of, the words are escaping me. If you can see what's happening, that's what I'm trying to explain, but it will try and not replace the tab character as much as possible. That's the best I can explain it. Okay, so that's virtual replace mode. The sort of reasoning they give behind this is, not reasoning, the effect is the rest of the file does not really shift in position. So if you saw in replace mode, in replace mode, when I replaced the tab, sort of the rest of the line was shifting, or if like you inserted tabs, the rest of the file would shift with it. So in virtual replace mode, sort of the things it implements sort of nullify that. So in G-Shift-R, if I tab, well, there were 2 tabs there before. So you could type stuff here, fill up the tabs, and say you hit enter, what happens is the rest of the line gets deleted. And it puts you on the new line to enter replace mode, and in virtual replace mode. And the same with replace mode, it's basically once you get to the end of the line, you're in an append mode. If I hit enter again, I'm on the next line in virtual replace mode, and I can continue as usual. And so that's the main differences. So Backspace works as normal. So just Control W and Control U, and those all work the same. Inserting tabs with no expand, with expand tab turned off, in fact, sort of will, trying to think, 1 second, I just need to check. Inserting a tab okay, so if I insert a tab here, there we go. It will, as you saw there, inserting 1 tab character replaced multiple normal characters over there. So if I just exit this whole virtual replace mode, if I come to the beginning here and enter virtual replace mode, inserting a tab can replace several normal characters to maintain this sort of effect of editing screen real estate only instead of actual characters in the file. So again, one of the use cases that the doc says that this has is in this specific case where you want to sort of edit tab separated tables. So it says doing this. I can see how it makes this easier, but in my experience I've never really had to edit this these sorts of files, but this would be one use case of virtual replace mode. So yeah, also one last thing, I've been a bit sloppy in today's video, but oh well. With Control D and Control T, if you remember from the insert mode video, Control T does that, and Control D will sort of, increase indent, decrease indent. In virtual replace mode, right, the effect that this has is, say I'll replace from the beginning of the line. Say I start replacing stuff from here, right? If I say Control T, right, that acts as you would expect. It in fact inserted a tab before there. So if I keep Control T'ing, you see that it sort of is replacing the characters as I pass over them. And if I Control D, that, it undoes the changes that I passed over. So that is how Control T and Control D work in virtual replace mode. I don't think I showed that in normal replace mode. But yeah, that's how that works in virtual replace mode. In normal replace mode, let's actually see if there's any. So if I Control T, that it inserts a character. No. Does it insert a character? No, it replaces one character. In any case, let me not stray too far from where I am now. And then in list mode, so you see I've been using set list a ton. In virtual replace mode, it sort of, like I said, it works at screen space, but if you have set list on and are in virtual replace mode, it will sort of act as if it's not in list mode. So it will, in this case, replace the 8 characters. Well, okay, it just seems like, because there's more tabs. GR. So if I 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, there we go. It will act as if set list isn't even on. So the point is, don't enter virtual replace mode with set list on, basically. So I think that's it. Sorry if I was all over the place in today's video. Did not really prepare as well. I'm not really well versed in this mode, well, in these modes. So I was sort of just covering it for the sake of completeness. But yeah, there's some minor details I left out with regards to the tab settings, whether or not you have expand tab on, smart tab, smart indent, soft tab stop, because if you do change the tab settings, you can determine for yourself sort of what the differences are and what you would need to do differently, but shouldn't affect the overall behavior too much. But yeah, and then there's also, it was G shift R. Oh, there's also G little r, G undercase r, which G lowercase r, which does virtual replace mode for one character. So it acts as lowercase r, but a virtual replace mode variant of lowercase r. So G lowercase r will do the replacement as if it was in virtual replace mode. So that is that, I guess. But I will see you in the next video. Hopefully I should have that out tomorrow. Just have been very busy lately. So I'll see you in the next. Bye bye.